What's going on, YouTube Nation? I'm the Coffee Bean Jim. So you'll notice this little picture here. Buddy of mine, Rob, created a new creature. He does every Monday. He does, I think it's every Monday anyway, but he does a little monster box sort of thing where he takes a cool image that he finds and builds a monster out of it for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So I thought I'd swipe his idea, take all the credit as I normally do, and take what he had here and convert it over to Shadow of the Demon Lord. Now I got his permission, so he's totally cool with it. But you can go over there, harass him a little bit if you want to. I'll put a link to the channel and his the video that he has on these things up for you to go over and check out his. I'm not going to get into too much detail on what the creatures are. I'll let him do that. Definitely check out his video. However, I will say that he kind of created these to kind of take the place of those typical goblins and kobolds and those little pesky little creatures that are in the beginning for our first level and second level characters. Kind of as something new, a little bit different. So these things are Rhinelings. And you can see from the picture there, and a kind of goblin-esque, they have the big horns that come off from their head. They look pretty ravenous. And something he said that kind of caught my attention the most was that he gave them a bit of immunity to poison because they consume basically everything that's around them, and they eat whatever they can so they don't get sick. So I kind of latched onto that. I like this idea of these small creatures running around that just consume everything, regardless what it is, be vegetation, meat, other creatures. They just swarm them, very like a piranha. Like I can see a whole group, a whole tribe of these things just tearing across the wasteland and through towns and stuff, just consuming everything and just leaving decay behind them. So I kind of latched on that idea of them consuming everything. I converted the stats over to the Shadow of the Demon Lord system. You can see right up here. So, excuse me. So one of the things he did, he gave them poison, or immunity to poison. I swapped it around a little bit, did disease and poison. So they're immune to the damage from disease and poison, and they're immune to being diseased and poisoned. They're still fairly weak. Health is 11, so it's a little stronger. They're pretty decent strength and agility. Not very smart, decent will. They're kind of goblin-esque. He kind of wanted them to be a guerrilla warfare sort of creatures that come in, strike, and then jump back and hide and stuff. So we gave them sneaky, kind of like a goblin has, so they get a boon to agility, or I'm sorry, a boon to silent and agility challenge rolls for hiding and moving silently. Can't speak today. They have their horns here that they can attack with. They have an axe usually. I figure like a small hatchet, pretty primitive stone axes. And bone javelins that I added in for this case. For special attack, they can charge, so if it's more than half of its speed before making a successful horn attack, it deals an extra 1d6 damage. So basically you can charge, make that horn attack, and you're going to be doing 1d6 plus 1d3 damage. And then they do have a little bit of magical power, so I gave them a power 1 and primal tradition with Beast Within and Beast Tongue. So Beast Within is going to give them a little bit more speed and up that damage a little bit. So these things can be deadly. So when they first come out, if they cast that Beast Within, they're going to be moving faster. And Beast Within also adds up that an additional 1d6. So if they charge and make a horn attack, they're going to be doing 2d6 plus 1d3 damage when they have that Beast Within activated. So they can get deadly quick. On top of that, they have Beast Tongue, so they can talk to other creatures and stuff. So I took what he had and kind of converted things over here to Shadow of the Demon Lord, and I wanted to take this one step further. I wanted to create a bit of an encounter for you guys to grab a hold of and run. So let me move this image out of the way here. You can see I created this little bit of a map. I will link the map, I will link the document, I will link the stats, everything down below in the description of this, so that other GMs out there, if you want to grab a hold of this, you can run this encounter, flop it into the middle of a cavernous area or something like that, and you have a whole encounter ready to go for you. So I'm not going to get too much into depth of the encounter sheet itself. I'll let you guys kind of read through it. It's about 2 pages, not very big. But give a quick little layout. There's both a GM map, which is the one that you see here, and there is a player map, which doesn't have the numbers and the labels on it. But basically what you have is kind of the PCs kind of come in this way down through, from the northeast of this map into this cavern area. You can see number 1 there. Number 1 is what I call the feasting hall. It looks like it's been crafted from the ribs of some old creature, maybe like a dragon or something. So they're sticking up out of the ground and kind of merged in with the wall. Underneath here, the whole ceiling is just dripping with gore. There's intestines kind of hanging down, flayed bodies, skins, there's drying, stuff like that kind of hanging down. And in the middle of this room are just long tables, scraps, wooden tables, bone. They craft everything out of bone and stone, stuff like that. And it's just covered with gore, dead bodies, limbs, creatures, whatever you want that they've been feasting on. There's a couple of Rhinelings in there that are gorging themselves on whatever they have in this room. Over here at number 2 is almost like a ballista, like construction, war machine sort of thing. Like I said, everything they build is crafted out of bone. It's bound together with dried intestines and sinew and muscle. Everything has this strange, really sticky mucus-like stuff, which I picture as vomit from them, that they're vomiting up almost like a glue after consuming all the stuff and gorging themselves. They just can't hold anymore and vomit up this bile, this like a mucus that they stick and use to glue stuff together. So what they have here is a ballista-like contraption. It has several sharpened large spears made out of bone, again, maybe from like giant's legs, things like that, that they've sharpened up, and it can fire. It can be maneuvered back and forth so that they can cover most of this chamber from up there. Number 3 up here are a couple cages. This is kind of like 10-foot by 10-foot cages. They would have prisoners, victims, potential food, which is what they are, in there for later. These cages are hanging up in the air about 10 feet, held together by winches that go down to the ground so they can be raised and lowered. Again, the cages are built from scraps of bone, the sticky mucus, dried intestines, and skin bond, like tatters of skin that's been turned into leather. Down here, the number 4 area is where they throw everything that they've started to consume from what has been consumed, and they've vomited back up into what's left of capturees and horses and whatever they can get a hold of that they haven't yet consumed, and they just keep piling it into this pile. The floor itself is kind of divoted in a little bit, and what it does is it creates all of the bodily juices, the fluids, the bloods, the pus, vomit, feces, everything just kind of drains through these bones down to the bottom of this basin. And the Rhinelings will go over there and ladle this mixture, this disgusting bile up and bottle it up, and it's called Rhineling blood wine. Now, anybody who's actually stupid enough to try and drink this stuff is going to get really, really sick. However, the Rhinelings get extra energy from this. They can heal, get some attack bonuses, stuff like that if they consume this stuff. And then number 5 down here is there's a wall that they kind of built across, again, merged together with bile and bone and muscle, sinew that they've kind of bottled up. And it's there just as a breaking point so that, if they ever got attacked or anything, it would give them an out that they can get behind and then, escape down further into these tunnels. So the basic encounter revolves around the players, coming in from the northeast corner there, coming in. They'll have several of the Rhinelings in the little feasting hall area that notice them. They come out to attack. There's 2 of them over at the ballista contraption that can start firing at the PCs. There's several over in the fermenting pile of bodies here that are ladling up some of this blood wine, who they can also attack. And there's one called the Rhineling Necrolord. This is the shaman or the leader of this group, if you will. And he, I didn't put his stats, but his stats are in the document itself. Instead of having these primal tradition, he has necromancy, so he can do animated and stuff like that. But he has crafted a bone construct that is in this pile of bodies too, so that if things start to go bad, he can call forth this bone construct, which can lumber out and start hurling chunks of its bone at the players, as well as going over and attacking them with its appendages. So that's in there as well. This is going to be a really deadly encounter for players. I built it with the idea of maybe level 4 or 5 characters. Obviously 4 to 5 players at level 4 to 5 characters. Even though these things are weak, there's only 11 health. I think the Necrolord has 15, and the construct I think is 25 hit points. They can start pumping out some massive damage, especially if they have that beast within activated and they're charging. They have the ballista up there in the corner and they're fighting it, so it can get deadly quick. So as a GM, it's your job to kind of take this into consideration, stagger these encounters a little bit. There's quite a bit of other things going on here. You can have anybody who's been captured that are up in these cages, maybe trying to distract the Rhinelings that are down on the ballista, throwing chunks of bone or meat and stuff at them, trying to distract them. The ballista itself, these Rhinelings recently did a raid, and they have 3 small sticks of gunpowder, kind of like dynamite basically, which they have strapped to 3 spears, which they will light and they can hurl forth to cause an explosion. He might have very perceptive PCs notice these sticks that are lying on the ground that they haven't quite used yet, or they're getting ready to use, so that they maybe can cast fire spell at them, or shoot or something to try and trigger those explosions back, on those instead, or somehow use that to their advantage. The Necrolord will kind of move down behind this wall, jumping up to cast his spells now and then, but otherwise taking refuge. So you can see this is going to become very deadly quickly. So the players are going to have to think on their feet. They're going to need to be ready. And you as a GM need to be able to balance this so that they're not completely overwhelmed. Give them that chance to notice some of these different things. So, obviously, if you're going to be running this or something, even if you're not an experienced DM, it's pretty much set up for you, ready to roll. Have fun with it. Let me know if it ends up in a TPK. It very well could. I'm probably will run this for one of my players at some point. I do a lot of stuff on the fly, so I'll kind of judge it and move it from there. But altogether, that is a basic encounter. I'll let you check out the document sheet so you can read through, get more details on this encounter of what's all going on. And let me know if you use it. You guys have a great day. Go check out Rob's video. He does it, I think it's every Monday. He slacks off a little bit. That's just the way he is, I guess. But we love you, Rob. Don't worry. So you guys have a great day. And keep on gaming, fellas.